Let's be honest for a moment. A lot of advice about rest sounds the same. Just take a break, go on vacation, practice self-care, relax more. But for many people watching this, those breaks don't feel restful anymore. You take time off and still feel drained. You try to relax and your mind won't stop. You rest, but you don't recharge. So if you've been trying all the right things and still feeling exhausted, this video is for you. Our goal has always been to make psychology easier to understand so you can take the first step toward caring for your mental and emotional health. Most of us were taught a simple equation: rest equals recovery. But psychology and neuroscience show something more complex. Relaxation isn't just about stopping activity, it's about what your nervous system is doing while you rest. That's why two people can take the same break and feel completely different afterward. Your nervous system doesn't recharge all at once. It needs specific conditions to shift from alert mode into recovery mode. And when those conditions aren't met, rest can feel empty, frustrating, or even more exhausting than working. This doesn't mean rest is broken or that you're doing it wrong. It means the kind of rest you need might be different from what you've been told to try. And understanding why relaxation has stopped working can help you find what actually does. Here's what psychology tells us about why rest doesn't always restore us anymore. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, your autonomic nervous system has two main states: sympathetic, which activates your fight or flight response, and parasympathetic, which supports rest and recovery. When you're constantly stressed, overstimulated, or running on cortisol and adrenaline, your nervous system stays locked in sympathetic mode. Even when you try to relax, your body doesn't believe it's safe to do so. This is especially true for people living with anxiety, trauma, chronic stress, or burnout. You might be sitting still, but your heart rate stays elevated. Your muscles stay tense, your thoughts keep racing, your body is resting, but your system is still running. And that's why relaxation doesn't recharge you. You're not actually entering recovery mode. You're just pausing while still on high alert. 2. Rest has become another task on your to-do list. Somewhere along the way, relaxation became something we're supposed to optimize. We schedule it, we track it, we measure whether we're doing it right. We scroll through content about self-care routines, morning rituals, and productivity hacks disguised as wellness. And suddenly, rest isn't restful anymore. It's performative. You're not resting because your body needs it. You're resting because you think you should, or because you're trying to fix yourself, or because you're afraid of burning out. But when rest becomes another obligation, it loses its restorative power. Your brain treats it like work. And work, even when it's called self-care, doesn't recharge you. 3. You're resting your body but not your mind. A lot of rest advice focuses on physical stillness. Lie down, take a nap, sit on the couch, watch something, scroll for a while. But if your mind is still processing, planning, worrying, replaying conversations, or thinking about everything you're not doing, you're not truly resting. Mental rest is just as important as physical rest. And for people with ADHD, anxiety, or racing thoughts, the mind doesn't stop just because the body does. You might spend an entire day off thinking about work, replaying past mistakes, or mentally preparing for future problems. And by the end of that day, you feel just as tired as before. Because your brain never got to rest. It was still running in the background the whole time. 4. You're overstimulated and calling it relaxation. We live in a world designed to keep your attention active. Notification, autoplay, infinite scroll, bright screens, loud environments, constant input. And when you try to relax, you often do it in the same overstimulating way. Watching videos, scrolling social media, binge-watching shows, playing games, listening to podcasts while doing something else. None of this is bad, but it's not restorative either. Your brain is still processing information, your senses are still engaged, your dopamine system is still being activated, you're distracting yourself, not resting. And distraction can feel good in the moment, but it doesn't recharge your nervous system. In fact, it can leave you feeling more mentally drained than before. 5. You're not giving yourself permission to actually stop. This one is hard to admit. But sometimes the reason rest doesn't work is because you don't fully allow it. You rest, but with guilt. You take a break, but keep checking your phone. You try to relax, but your mind is already planning what comes next. You tell yourself you deserve rest, but deep down you don't really believe it. Maybe you were raised to believe that rest is laziness, that productivity equals worth, that stopping means falling behind. Or maybe you've internalized the idea that if you're not struggling, you're not trying hard enough. And so even when you rest, part of you is still resisting it. You're resting in body but not in spirit, and that internal conflict drains you more than the work itself ever did. 6. You're using rest to avoid instead of recover. There's a difference between rest and avoidance. Rest is intentional. It's chosen because your body and mind need it. Avoidance is reactive. It's chosen because you're overwhelmed, afraid, or don't know what else to do. And when rest becomes avoidance, it doesn't feel restorative. It feels heavy. You're not recharging, you're hiding, you're numbing, you're postponing. And underneath that rest is anxiety, shame, or dread about everything you're not facing. This is common in depression, burnout, and chronic stress. You rest because you can't keep going, but the rest doesn't help because the thing weighing on you is still there. And until you address it, rest will feel like procrastination instead of recovery. 7. You've forgotten what true rest feels like. For some people, it's been so long since they felt genuinely rested that they don't even know what they're aiming for anymore. You've been running on empty for months, maybe years. You've adapted to exhaustion. You've normalized feeling drained. And now rest just feels like a different version of tired. You don't remember what it's like to wake up refreshed. To feel calm without effort. To have energy that isn't fueled by caffeine or anxiety. And because you've lost touch with what rest should feel like, you don't know how to find it again. You try things that used to work, but they don't anymore. And you're left wondering if something is broken inside you, but nothing is broken. You're just deeply, profoundly depleted. and recovering from that takes more than a weekend off. So what actually helps when relaxation has stopped recharging you? First, focus on nervous system regulation, not just stillness. True rest happens when your nervous system feels safe. That might mean gentle movement like stretching or walking, deep breathing, humming or singing, warm baths, soft textures, predictable routines. Anything that signals to your body that it's okay to let go. Second, practice doing nothing without distraction. Even for 5 minutes, sit, breathe, look out a window, let your mind wander. Don't fill the silence, don't reach for your phone. Just be, it will feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. Your brain isn't used to it, but this is where real rest begins. Third, separate rest from productivity. Rest doesn't need to be earned. It doesn't need to be optimized. It doesn't need to make you better at something. Rest is valuable simply because you are human and you need it. Let go of the idea that rest has to serve a purpose. Sometimes rest is the purpose. Fourth, address what's underneath the exhaustion. If rest isn't working, ask yourself what you're really tired from. Is it overwork, unprocessed emotion, lack of boundaries, unmet needs, chronic stress? Sometimes rest alone won't fix it. You might need to change something in your life, not just how you relax, and that's okay. Recognizing that is part of the healing. Fifth, give yourself full permission to rest without guilt. This is the hardest part, but it's also the most important. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to do nothing. You are allowed to rest even if others are still working, even if you didn't finish everything, even if you feel like you don't deserve it. Rest is not a reward, it's a biological necessity, and you are worthy of it simply because you exist. The writer of this script has felt this too. The exhaustion that doesn't lift, the rest that doesn't restore, the guilt that follows every break, the fear that stopping means failing. For them, learning to rest has been one of the hardest parts of healing. Because rest requires trust. Trust that the world won't fall apart if you stop. Trust that you're still valuable even when you're not producing. Trust that your body knows what it needs. And that kind of trust takes time to rebuild. If this video helped you feel a little less alone, what's one way you'd like to rest differently today? Thanks for being here and for taking care of yourself.